PWNcast.
Hello and welcome to episode 2 of PWNcast. I'm here tonight with...
I'm Pat, and I'm just here because I'm Danny's friend.
That's all?
Yeah, that's all I can go with.
And we have
I
we have a special guest tonight. Who is that special guest?
That would be Matt.
You did remember the voice masker, right?
No.
The deep throat voice?
No,
Oh, it's going to be your voice.
Yeah.
The deep throat voice.
The deep throat voice.
You know,
I think
like when you're watching Investigation Discovery and they're going, and they're like
God.
talking to somebody from the Bloods of the Crips and they're all like,
you could just say a deep voice. You know that deep
Hey,
throat
he
voice.
said it. I didn't fucking say it.
Hey,
No, okay.
Spare
it's
time,
okay.
dude. Spare time.
In the first Metal Gear Solid, somebody calls you, or at least in Twin Snake, somebody calls you on the codec and they have like a voice modifier on, and they go by deep throat, so the deep throat voice.
You could
Okay.
at least say
Anyway.
deep throaty voice.
Okay, now that
Deep
we're
throat
done
voice.
talking
No, we're
about
not talking
fucking
about
sex
that.
acts and United States history,
I guess.
Matt, since you're new to the
connected.
since you're new to the podcast, I'm pretty sure people would like to know, like what kind of games you play and stuff like that, just so that way they get a general idea of where you're coming from. So why don't you just fill us in on like games that you play and stuff like that?
Okay, well, I'm not a very modern gamer. I used to play a lot of the old SNES and Super Nintendo and the Xbox, and not the Xbox, whatever, 64. And, yes, I know.
He's a little off there.
The Xbox 64, easily the best console in
best
history.
console ever.
Yeah. But, and I pretty much stopped around PlayStation 1 and picked up back at the Xbox whenever my friend decided to hand me one. I was like, cool, well, here I go, start playing.
Okay.
But, yeah, I know, right?
Okay.
So
try it.
I'm back with the old Street Fighters and Mortal Kombats until I was introduced to graphics, and then I'm like, whoa,
Damn
what do I do with this? So, yeah, that's pretty much where I am right now.
All right, sweet. So like, what are some of your favorite genres of games that you like to play?
I would say RPGs, really, but in essence, that's not true because I haven't played enough of them. I just love Chrono Trigger.
Hey, that's fair. I think it's safe to say we all love Chrono Trigger.
It's a beautiful game.
Fantastic RPG.
That Square never touched on after the second one.
Yeah,
that they should have gone back to.
Wait, Chrono Cross counts?
I guess.
Hey, it was
I don't see a reason not to
shoddy
count it.
remake, but I still enjoyed it because it was
I
a
don't
Chrono.
see a reason not to count
title.
it. I mean,
It was a Chrono title.
It was a
I
Chrono
enjoyed
title.
it.
We loved it.
I was a fanboy.
We played it. It was Chrono. We that was it.
pretty much.
We played it for the name.
Okay, so now that we've got a little bit of where you're coming from with this, we don't really have much news this time other than
No, we really don't.
by the time that people are going to be hearing this, we got 2 expansions out for 2 EA titles coming out this week. First off, we've got Battlefield 3's Aftermath expansion coming out.
What exactly is going to be in
on
next?
the
You said they're going to be
PS3.
patching some stuff.
Well, the patch notes, they're all available on Battlelog. Anybody who plays the game, primarily PC players, have to go on Battlelog anyway, so they'll probably see it.
No, I don't
Mainly,
play
they're fixing a lot of
Battlefield,
problems
so
with
tell me what's
the
in it.
PlayStation 3 version. The PlayStation 3 version
Yeah, I know.
a lot of
buggy.
improvements.
There's a lot of issues, but
And I've been
saddening.
I've been victim of said glitches. Most of them are audio glitches where I won't hear enemy gunfire.
and it's just
I won't hear enemy footsteps.
Oh yeah, blame it.
oh
on the
jeez,
glitches.
yeah, blame it on the glitches, Danny.
You got knifed. Now you're.
Oh,
You got
no,
knives and always raging, blame it on the
I don't
glitches.
even hear my gun going off half the time.
Really?
Yeah, that's really
I
annoying.
mean,
'cause-
I've seen like a couple videos that have had like some visual tearing and like clipping through stuff, but I haven't encountered any audio issues yet.
it's mostally the audio issue
Like,
that bugs
there's
me.
been some crackling with gunfire,
And then there's the usual, let's nerf this weapon and make this one,
Oh, of
let's
course.
buff this one, which they've done ever since the game launched.
because
I
there's
know.
going to be imbalance.
I've had some audio glitches with the 360 version of it though, where I'd be firing, and it really, really only happens with the bigger weapons. I would fire, and whatever direction I was firing in online, if you turn that way, you could continuously hear that gunfire. You couldn't hear anything else but that gunfire. So I would be running through Metro, and I hear this.
You hear all of this gunfire, and you think you're
constantly
getting
hear
shot
an
at.
M60 going.
Right, pretty much. And I'm on the ground for 20 seconds, and people are passing me, and I'm wondering why. I'm like, get down, and I'm like, oh, I'm just glitched.
And then you're like, wait a minute, I'm not being suppressed.
You're still playing with an old school 360, the first one.
Yes, I'm still playing with the first.
That really doesn't make that much of a difference.
I was going to ask, would that make a difference at all? Or?
I think it's more of a networking problem.
Yeah. Also, the Aftermath expansion is supposed to be a kind of themed expansion it's a post-earthquake environment, and you have to scavenge for weapons.
Ooh.
That's why they're introducing this crossbow weapon, which, to be quite honest, I am not looking forward to having to use that.
It's going to be like the crossbow from that Fire 007.
No, it's not.
It's
because
like the crossbow from Black Ops?
Okay, because the crossbow from Nightfire is a horrible weapon. The scope is useless.
It's a horrible weapon. The scope is useless, and there's no rate of fire.
And its
because
accuracy
it's crossbow
is off.
And you have to kind of...
The accuracy is off.
Oh, it's way off.
Sometimes you can shoot at him point blank with it, and it's like, oh no, that didn't even go in.
Nope, you missed.
It's like, fuck this, I'm going back to an AK.
Reaches to the right, miss my black ass. Anyway.
So we're getting new maps, all of them in a kind of ravaged environment post-earthquake. So I'm interested to see how good the environments look.
Those could look really good.
Yeah, I think it's going to be...
some really cool maps.
I mean, Battlefield has not disappointed me so far. I mean, there's still another expansion after this, and I haven't played Aftermath yet. But so far... Overall, I'm playing the game more than I would play any other Call of Duty.
I have to agree with that.
But I mean,
I'm not a big FPS, but once I touched Battlefield, I fell in love with it. I was just like, this is the game I'm going to play for a while.
Exactly. I'm the same way. I'm a couple games behind, but I'm pretty much the same way. I very, 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 very against first-person shooters personally, because I'm not good at them, so I stay away from them. But Danny... told me that,
you saw those Metro stats that I had the other night. 124 kills.
Danny told me a couple weeks ago that EA was offering Battlefield 1942 for free, and on PC, and I do everything mostly on my PC, and I was like, I'll give it a shot, and I've been hooked on it. I mean, I broke it, so I had to reinstall it, but that's what happens when you start messing with things. But I had to reinstall it. I've been hooked on it. I keep going back to it.
Let me put it to you this way: I have never played a bad Battlefield game.
I don't think there is one.
Well, that can be debated. I mean, a lot of hardcore fans say...
sure there isn't one.
A lot of the longtime Battlefield fans will completely shit on 2142, which I have to completely disagree. I love Battlefield 2142.
What was that for 360? Or is
no, that's for PC.
It's for PC?
PC.
I'm going to have to look at it.
Yes.
Battlefield
has been
really
a
awesome.
PC franchise.
No, I know, but they had a couple PS2 titles, and they had they had some of the newer titles.
I think only Battlefield 2... was on the PS2.
Yeah.
And then
Bad Company, yeah.
No, Bad Company
2, Bad Company was the next one.
Yeah,
after
Bad Company was Bad Company was the
good.
Battlefield game that was designed for consoles. They're like, we are thinking of console
it was
gamers
really
when
good.
I liked it. Yeah,
it really was good.
And
it was awesome.
I've heard longtime Battlefield fans shit on those, and I don't know why, because they're fantastic games.
I don't know either.
I'm gonna have to look for 2142 then.
I think the biggest reason I got hooked on Battlefield is freaking choppers, man. I love those things.
Well, that and you don't play a whole lot of Call of Duty, do you?
No.
Yeah,
no.
I think the only other FPS I've seen you play was Rainbow Six Vegas.
Loved Vegas. I
again,
know it's old.
Good taste in games.
But I did play, Call of Duty for a while. I was chilling with one of my friends. Staying over at his house for like months at a time. That's all he had. That's all he had.
Call of Duty, so we got.
So I got my kill streak up to 20, and I was like, "Sweet,
whatever.
I'm 20-1 right now. I'm done with this game forever. I have no more need. I'm done.
Exactly.
I quit."
Master of bullet drop over here has no need.
Wait,
has no need for your Call of Duty.
Wait, Call of Duty has realistic physics? I didn't know that.
No, he was speaking of Battlefield.
The Master of bullet drops over
Seeing
here.
Seeing as how I can lunge at somebody and instantly kill them with a knife from 5 feet away.
Well, apparently, yeah.
That was wonderful.
Oh my!
Because apparently Call of
Commando
Duty...
Pro, baby. Commando Pro.
Call of Duty apparently takes place in Star Wars, where you hurl yourself at people and they die.
I was introduced to FPS games very early. My father used to play a lot of FPS games like Wolfenstein 3D and Doom.
Oh,
that's where I got my
if we're
start.
Go all the way back. What was your first FPS?
My very first was 007 GoldenEye.
Fantastic game.
Fantastic.
Yeah, that was beautiful too.
Oh, it was great. My first was Half-Life, followed by GoldenEye.
Yeah, I definitely Wolfenstein 3D and Doom for me. I did play GoldenEye a lot with the kids on the street.
I played the crap out of GoldenEye.
You know, we didn't have fights after school. We settled it on GoldenEye.
Yeah, you settled it in GoldenEye. We settled it in...
the bastard picked odd job.
We settled it in Pokemon Stadium and Rampage.
Rampage is good.
Rampage. We settled it in Rampage because I didn't let anybody touch GoldenEye.
Yeah.
This goes up here. Nobody touch it.
If we were going to use Pokemon to settle things, we actually use the Game Boy versions with link cables and
and you had your stuff.
My link cables always
your link cables always died.
I never understood it.
I remember having the original Nintendo Game Boy.
Oh my god!
The brick,
the
gray brick.
Yeah.
4 AA batteries.
I think there's one in my house that still works somewhere.
I think my brother...
there's one that still works somewhere.
You know, oddly enough, my very first Game Boy game was not Pokemon. It was frickin' Donkey Kong. Very first Game Boy game was Donkey Kong.
My very first Game Boy game was Pokemon Red.
Tetris,
nice.
Tetris and Super Mario Land.
Tetris, Super Mario Land, and then R-Type.
I never had Super Mario on Game Boy. I always had it for the consoles, never the Game Boy.
Super Mario Land, even though it's not done by Miyamoto, is still a fantastic game. You can clearly tell it wasn't done by Miyamoto. There's these weird Egyptian themes and totems all over. I'm like, he didn't have a hand in this.
Not at all.
Unless he just went in a completely different direction. Yeah, and when you stomp on the turtles on that, you can't kick the shell like in the original. No. You stomp on them, and the shells explode.
Ooh.
So it's
it kind of adds like a whole new challenge behind
Super
getting
Mario,
rid of the turtles.
Michael Bay edition.
Michael Bay edition.
Yes.
Wow.
So it's like
Super Mario Explosion Man.
Yeah. So that was and FPSs, I think.
Con down the tubes.
I agree.
What's your favorite FPS title?
Ooh, that's a hard one for me.
That is a hard one.
I mean, I've played so many first-person shooters, good and horrible.
Because they're
Killzone.
Killzone.
The first Killzone on PS2.
Remake of Perfect Dark.
I have the HD
Perfect Dark Zero?
Yeah.
Oh, Perfect Dark Zero is pretty bad.
Yeah.
God, that was...
but everybody loved it because it was a launch title for the 360.
I fell asleep playing that the first time.
Yeah.
Like, I just passed out.
I remember playing it for the 64, though.
It was...
At the time,
it was a blast.
At the time, it was fun.
It was a blast. I loved it.
I may lose my credibility here, but I didn't even really like Perfect Dark 64 that much.
It's okay. It's not for everybody.
I mean, because everybody's going to be like, Perfect Dark.
It's not for everybody.
You know, there's those people out there like who think that Perfect Dark is better than GoldenEye.
No.
And
I'm sorry, but no.
And I'm going to have to say, no.
Was there a golden gun in Perfect Dark?
We now have
I think not.
Have no audience.
I know. They're gone. They
got no audience. Goodbye.
They're gone. So, no, I mean, I remember my mother having a fit when I would play GoldenEye. I mean, she didn't have a problem with Doom or Wolfenstein or anything like that. But I don't know what it was. It may have been the fact that it was based off of a Bond movie because my mom has this really weird prejudice towards Bond movies.
Towards Bond.
And now I can kind of see where she's coming from. She has this idea that every single movie is just a misogynist paradise. But that's not
the case.
Especially with the Daniel Craig movies.
Yeah.
It's just, oh look, here's a guy who's ex-SAS killing people. Okay.
Let's just enjoy and watch.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, yeah.
So, did you guys do any Black Friday shopping at all?
No, I was standing on the street holding a sign advertising free pancakes.
That's right.
Yeah.
I did it earlier. I I got myself a brand new laptop, $200
Yeah.
cheaper than what it was.
Nice.
Yes, yeah, it was beautiful.
Which specs? Because I'm sure there's people who want to know. So specs, go ahead.
Oh, it's a Toshiba satellite. It's i7.
Which is it's a beautiful.
Oh yes, it's beautiful.
Wonderful.
Has an i7 core processor,
I'm jealous.
4 gigs of RAM.
You want trade processors?
No. And 640 gigabytes of free space in it. It's just wonderful. The only exception is it's running on Windows 8.
Windows 8, which is I haven't even used it, and it's awkward.
It's awkward
It's so
to get
awkward.
used to.
Not going to upgrade for a long
Yes.
Yeah, not
time.
gonna upgrade for a while.
Don't upgrade.
I am not one of those people in line waiting for Windows 8 to get on my
no.
machine.
There's no way.
I may find a way to install
Windows 8
to
Windows
it,
8's
but-
going to be like
I think you can go back. You
Windows
should be
8
fine trying to downgrade.
is going to be like the Windows Millennium Edition.
Oh God, no, not again.
No.
No, not again.
Windows Me.
Wait. How big of nerds are we that we know what that
Hey.
is? And we all kind of
Hey.
had the same reaction to it.
Hey, hey, that's fine. I don't care.
I also got like 8 007 movies for $5 each at Best Buy.
Which ones?
I picked a
Regular
bunch of
DVD, I'm
Yeah,
assuming.
It's regular
I
DVD,
don't have
okay.
Blu-ray player right now, but I got them from my dad. He's a Bond fan.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to get your $100 freaking
Oh, yeah.
$100
collection.
fucking Bond collection.
I picked that up yesterday. I picked up the Bond 50th anniversary Blu-ray set, and let's just say you're not going to see me until February. I'm going to come out and I'm just going to smell like death.
Pretty much.
Danny, have you been?
I now know all Bond.
Oh, Bond.
I know exactly what Roger Moore is going to say before he says it.
Wow.
Okay, so
So that was my big Black
I
Friday
didn't do
weekend
anything.
haul.
As I said
So
before, I didn't do anything.
Cyber Monday, I've been looking at
I
deals
didn't
all
see,
day.
I didn't see anything
Oh my
spectacular.
god!
Really. I mean,
no,
the
horrible.
only thing I saw today was actually you pointed out was the RoboCop Blu-ray set, which I want, but it's not. There's not a deal or anything for it.
It's an okay set. There are no special features whatsoever. Probably the only highlight.
I want RoboCop commentary though.
The only real highlight. Dude, I want a making of.
You want a making of?
It exists.
That would be
It's
so
out
awesome.
there. No, it's out there. It's just that nobody will
That would
release
be
it.
Awesome.
If
we could get our hands on it, it'd be amazing.
But pretty much the only highlight of that set is that the first RoboCop movie on that Blu-ray is the X-rated cut.
Which I kind of want to see.
Yeah, it's definitely... I can see the parts where they had to take out in order to get an R rating. So, it has nothing to do with nudity or anything like that. It's violence.
I know.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it, but I've heard the stories. In case it's not obvious, I love RoboCop.
Yes.
I love RoboCop.
Jizzing over here.
I jizz over RoboCop.
Can't
Except
wait
the-
for the remake.
Oh, yeah.
Kinda want to blow my brains out.
Because all the remakes have been so wonderful lately.
I got a new gun today, guys.
Hey, look! I bought this freaking Glock. down in
Let's.
South Side.
Sorry, yay!
I'm ready to die. There's no
Yeah,
safety,
take it
so
to RoboCop with me.
you pretty much. So,
I don't need snacks. I got the gun.
yeah, RoboCop
Anyway.
remake. Hey, well, at least they got.
I'm gonna give it the benefit of the doubt because it's RoboCop.
I think the thing is, I've seen what the suit looks like. I've seen what the gun looks like. I think the suit, and because I understand where they're coming from with what they've said about this new RoboCop movie, is that, you know, the original is a slow-walking tank with destruction that never reloads his pistol.
That's exactly.
Except for maybe twice in the entire franchise. Once in the first one and once in the second one.
Yeah, and that's the only time you see him is just...
The third one, he gets an M16/missile launcher
Yeah,
flamethrower arm thing. Which is like, hey, we want to sell action figures, so buy this.
We want to sell action figures, have a gun.
I think it's going to be a lot different. I'm taking it with a grain of salt, pretty much. I'm not expecting it to be better.
I'm gonna try and be optimistic about it because these movies are I mean, I know it's kind of cheesy, but these movies are important to me. I really like them.
Yeah,
there's a special spot there for RoboCop.
The only thing that worries me is that a friend of mine posted a link to me on Facebook about the movie where the director has gone on the record by saying that the new RoboCop remake will have, quote, Call of Duty style shootouts.
No,
Switch.
dear God, no.
And I'm
No.
like, okay, so you've pretty much confirmed that RoboCop's going to have to move fast.
Pretty much, yeah. He's gonna have to go.
In a Call of Duty style shootout,
Does he have a knife?
RoboCop's toast.
Yeah.
Does he have a knife? Does he do 6 yard
no,
lunges?
he's got that data spike
Data
that
spike
he,
lunge.
that he stabbed Red Foreman
Yeah.
in the throat with.
Now the question is, does he have Commando Pro?
That is a very
Or
good
does
question.
he have sleight of hand?
I do like how
Doesn't
they've
need sleight.
they've
Fucking
dispelled
RoboCop.
the rumor that I heard by some leaked photos.
Oh,
of
that
him.
the arm transformed?
Yeah, that
I'm
his
so
arm,
glad. I am so glad they didn't do that.
his arm was going to transform into the weapons.
Which, I'm
And
so glad they decided not to
that's
do that. I'm
pretty
so glad
much
that wasn't legit.
thrown out the window at this point because
That's good, because that would have been really cheap and would have been fucking really bad.
the leaked photos with and the new pistol actually looks pretty good.
It does look good. It looks good. And the new suit looks alright.
The pistol looks similar enough to the original that you can tell. Okay, yeah, that's RoboCop's
And
pistol.
you can see the influence
Yeah.
of the original suit on the new one. You can definitely see the similarities.
I mean, but I'm open to change, I guess, especially after RoboCop 3.
Oh my god. Are you kidding me? Wait, there was a third one?
Yeah.
Kidding. Anyway.
Yeah, it was like PG-13 and everything else.
Oh, jeez.
And he had a jetpack. And,
Yeah, I know.
And,
I know.
and Frank Miller.
I know. I
Which
know.
just goes to show you that Frank Miller writes very few good things.
I'm not touching that.
Really,
I'm
the
not
only
touching
thing,
that.
The Dark Knight Returns is like the only good thing he's
I'm
ever
touching
wrote.
that one.
I'm just saying.
I know.
Oh, and RoboCop versus the Terminator. That was pretty good. I like that. Got turned into an awesome Super Nintendo / Genesis game.
It did. It was a good game.
So that's a pretty awesome thing.
All right, so I know we've kind of bounced around a little bit.
Yeah,
but, we do
bouncing.
actually have a topic we were supposed to touch on.
I know, and we didn't even finish the.
We didn't finish any of the news or anything like that.
Just for the sake of finishing it, in case anybody's wondering, the other DLC from the EA game is Mass Effect 3's got an Omega expansion coming out.
Yeah.
Which, still after that ending, nobody gives a shit.
Nobody cares anymore.
Nobody gives a shit.
It's moot point. It's moot at this
I make
point.
multiplayer videos for that, and it makes me money. That's the only reason why I play multiplayer anymore.
Nice.
I'm going to be honest with you. Cause
I know that's the only reason you play it anymore.
For some reason, my Mass Effect 3 videos...
I still need to play the campaign, because it's the one I haven't played yet.
My Mass Effect 3 videos garner more views and more ad revenue than my Battlefield 3 stuff.
The
And
unboxings.
that...
And the unboxings.
Well, no, I'm talking about gameplay-wise.
Oh, okay.
I will never understand that.
What? That your multiplayer...
That Mass Effect
more
3
views? Oh,
gets
yeah.
more views than
Absolutely.
Battlefield 3. That makes no sense. There are more people playing Battlefield 3 right now than all three platforms of Mass Effect 3 multiplayer combined.
I don't know.
And that's Battlefield 3 on PC alone. That's not collectively. So
Jeez.
that right there...
That's...
Wow.
Yeah, okay, there is a lot of people watching those. It's a good thing.
But no, it's got a good multiplayer community. I mean, I've been on their subreddit, and they're overall very nice people. So, they're good players. Good team players. They don't rage quit. They don't complain that this isn't Call of Duty.
I have encountered so much of that lately.
I mean, I've had...
Oh my god.
I've had somebody...
ridiculous.
This
isn't Call of Duty. I don't like it.
I've
Rage
had
quit.
somebody tell
No,
me
we
in
went-
the past that Mass Effect 3 multiplayer is horrible because it's worse than Gears of War. And let me tell you this, Gears of War has been shit since day one.
You know, it'd be a fantastic prank I just thought of for Call of Duty. If a server was hacked and completely transformed into 007 GoldenEye style, see how many people would rage quit.
Server message.
absolutely.
A server message pops up and goes, "Welcome to a good game."
I know.
Welcome to a good game.
How many people would rage
Enjoy.
quit? And then the people who were left, how amazing it would be to play with just those people
Oh, dude.
Oh,
for that
absolutely.
amount of time
Yes.
online.
Oh, except
That would be amazing.
just as long as it's not the new Bond games. Which,
No, the old one.
No,
I'm talking about 64.
No, Golden Ice for 64.
because that latest one, that 007 Legends, the multiplayer, it looks so old and archaic. It looks like Call of Duty 3. It
Wow,
plays
what?
like Call of Duty 3
What?
multiplayer. I am
Okay.
not joking. Graphically, it looks horrible.
Did they just not have money for
Okay.
a decent
I
engine?
guess not.
There hasn't been a good 007 game in years.
Since Golden
I haven't bought a 007 game since GoldenEye.
I have.
Yeah.
I played through Tomorrow Never Dies on the
Oh my
PlayStation.
God.
I've heard so many people say that
Oh,
they
man.
haven't finished it because it's that bad.
Oh,
and I
geez.
agree. I don't even know
It
how
was
I
bad.
finished it. But our main topic
Oh, this is going to
24
be... This
minutes
is going
in.
to be enjoyable.
24 minutes in.
Tonight
This is going to be a long episode.
Tonight we're talking about Capcom.
Oh, joy!
At the recommendation
The
of
joys of Capcom.
you.
Oh,
Patrick.
joy! I, put this out here real quick. I love Capcom. Or at least I did. Until they started screwing stuff up.
Which every major company with money
Every
does.
major company is doing that now,
Well,
but...
I mean, Nintendo hasn't screwed up that much.
No, but
At least
everybody
they
is slipping up,
sugarcoat
right?
you getting raped.
At
Right.
least they sugarcoat.
They will actually lubricate
Oh,
first
goodness.
before.
Nintendo
Whereas
has the courtesy to lube up.
EA
first.
Activision's just like melt into submission.
EA's just...
They're just on a cocaine and Mountain Dew fueled frenzy of rape. And you know what?
Oh, man.
Capcom, I don't know what's going on. I really don't. I will never understand what's going on over
there's
there.
not really any indication as to what the problem is.
I mean, it's Sonic Team all over again.
It's Sonic. It really is.
It's
And it's unfortunate. But real quick, what Capcom games do you play or have you played?
Have I played? My Capcom games were definitely the Street Fighter games. And
Okay.
then Marvel vs. Capcom. All of my stuff was just, the basic fighting games. I didn't get into too much of their other stuff.
Okay, and
I'm a big fan of Street Fighter 2 Turbo on the SNES.
I'm glad
it
you
was
specified.
good. Yeah, Street Fighter 2
Yes.
Turbo, because there's 80 million
You have
Street
to.
Fighter
You
games.
have to at this point. That's my
Which was-
favorite Street Fighter game. I've played every single Resident Evil game but Resident Evil Revelations on the 3DS.
I've played every single one except Resident Evil 6.
Because I don't want to shell out the
God,
money
Gaiden was
for
a
a
piece of shit.
3DS.
Anyway, Gaiden was a piece of crap.
Yeah, I even played Gaiden.
And Gaiden was... Oh my god,
That plot twist with Barry Burton's hilarious.
It is.
Too bad it's not
What
canon.
the fuck?
Yeah. Let's see, what other Capcom franchises have I done? I've done some Mega Mans. Really only the early ones. Mega Man 2 is probably my favorite Mega Man. I've played a little bit of Mega Man X.
Yeah. It's Mega Man. I think everybody's played Mega Man.
Yeah, other than that...
Yeah, I definitely played Mega Man.
Well, I've played the Marvel vs. Capcoms too, but...
I've played Marvel vs. Capcom. I think everybody's played that almost.
Yeah.
Because they had that arcade machine for such a long time, and it's been around for forever.
It's been around for
And
aeons and aeons.
Yeah,
and
it's been around
and then
forever.
Carl Sagan comes back from the dead and describes how long
exactly.
Marvel vs. Capcom.
How long it's been around for.
Those are primarily the only Capcom things I can think of right now. I'm sure there's more, but
I think
I forgot that I played Mega Man as well. I was like, oh yeah, this is Capcom. My bad.
yeah.
like you guys both know, I'm a huge Resident Evil fan. I've played every title except 6 all the way through, which I'm not even going to bother.
You're not missing a damn thing. We'll get to that later.
I've played almost every Monster Hunter title except for 3, which I'm hopefully getting tomorrow because I want to play it. I'm actually giving Capcom money for this because Monster Hunter seems like the only thing they haven't messed up on yet.
Seemingly.
Capcom, I'm sorry, Mega Man, I've played every single Mega Man game out there, including those crappy Battle Network games.
I pity
Loved
you.
those.
I played
so
the
crappy,
first
I loved them.
3, and they were kind of hard not to be like, okay, this is really crappy, but I kind of want to enjoy it a little bit. I understand where you're coming
Square
from.
by square, man.
Yeah, exactly. Just like, okay, I kind of understand why this is appealing. I played those. Oh my god, the Star Force games. It was this like the next version of Mega Man after the Battle Network. They're so clunky. It's weird. I
Yeah.
never read it very far into.
To me, it's like
raged quit.
here's the way I see it. Played Mega Man 1 and 2 on the NES. I'm like, these are pretty freaking sweet.
These
And then I look
Exactly,
and I
they're-
see that there's like a kids show anime going on.
Yeah,
and he's
and
like in
there's
the
all
internet
this
with the
other
plasma
stuff.
sword, and I'm like, what the fuck happened? Seriously,
Yeah.
where
My-
did this franchise go? Oh wait, it got canceled. Mega
You
Man
said-
Legends
you said
3.
Mega Man 2.
I think my favorite thing about the Battle Network, yes, it was crappy, but was just the thought of having your own little Mega Man on, our smartphones that are coming out. It entertained the thought. I was like, I want my own little Mega Man.
we got to put the witchcraft one for because you mentioned Mega Man Legends 3 again. I'm very, very, very bitter about Mega Man Legends 3 getting canceled.
Well, that's because
I
Capcom-
loved Mega Man Legends 1
Capcom
and 2.
canceled it for a bullshit reason.
I know, because there wasn't fan feedback.
Well, no, they
didn't say
canceled it,
anything.
and then lied to the fans.
And they said that they didn't get any input from fans.
Yeah, they're
Which
saying
we all
that
did.
there's not enough fan support for Mega Man Legends 3.
We all told them we wanted
Whatever.
it.
And let me put it to you this
Nobody
way.
listened.
Let me put it to you this
Nobody
way.
listened. Sorry.
He's still
Sorry.
whining.
Let me put it to you this way, Capcom. I will go out and I will buy a Nintendo 3DS the day you release Mega Man Legends 3.
That's fair enough.
Not only
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Not only are you going to get money from me for Mega Man Legends 3,
Gonna get money
you're
for it.
also making Nintendo, one of the
Money.
biggest companies that help you make money,
You're making them money. They're
Yes.
helping you, or you're helping them, therefore they help you.
boosting sales.
Exactly.
Everybody wins. And
If they can...
for
Wasn't
those,
it, like, most of the way done anyway?
for those who don't know, one of their lead programmers decided, I'm done working with
Yeah,
this.
he just walked out.
Yeah. And I
Which is why they stopped production on the game. They canceled it.
They couldn't get anybody else.
Exactly. They couldn't find anyone else
Which
who
is
was willing to
bullshit.
do it. Which I'm sure were dozens of people willing to jump on that.
Oh, yeah.
And
I mean, it's Mega Man. How can you not
Be willing
jump
to
on that? Especially
one.
as old as the IP is, you've got to find somebody who's willing to do that.
That's a title you wouldn't let go if you had the chance to.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
And like Mega Man Powered Up, the remake of the older ones, was really good. I mean, it's cheesy. It's the kind of chibi art design and all that, but it really is good.
here's the
And
thing.
that was the only thing Mega Man
It's going to make Capcom money.
Exactly.
They do not like money, apparently.
I guess not.
They already robbed everybody on Resident Evil 6. Apparently, they don't need to make a Mega Man
I
Legends
guess
3
not.
anymore.
But they still need to make one.
I think what
They
it
still
is
need
is
to make one.
I feel like it's new management coming in trying to shut them down. They're attempting
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
self-bankrupt.
They're attempting to self-bankrupt.
Probably
That's nice. That's a
the
good
best.
point.
The best representation I have seen of the management of Capcom is, I don't know if you're aware of this reviewer on the internet, goes by the name of Angry Joe. And every time he reviews a Capcom game, he has a character he gets into called Corporate Commander. And he wears the Cobra Commander
Oh my
helmet.
god!
And-
he's got the Cobra
And he's
Commander
pretty much
helmet.
and he's pretty much acting like the president of Capcom, and it's hilarious because it's true. Talks about,
Nice.
oh, what's that? Good games? You don't need it.
Oh man!
What's that? Sequels that people really want? You
don't
don't
need
need
it.
it. So
See, he's like
Turn
in the
my
case
shit
of Monster Hunter, I'm a huge Monster Hunter fan. I've played pretty much all of them. I had them all for the PSP at one point. I had the first one for PS2, and I'm actually hoping to get the Wii one soon. That seems like it's the only one that they haven't messed up, like content-wise. But they have an MMO called Monster Hunter Frontier, which is an official, legit Monster Hunter game that they have refused to allow access to the rest of the world. It's only available in Japan. Again, going back to Capcom apparently doesn't like money. It's a sub-based game already. You already have to pay for it.
I actually think that Capcom's argument for why they haven't released that MMO over here is perfectly valid. This is actually the only time you're probably going to hear me agreeing with Capcom. There's just not a big enough following over here of Monster Hunter for them to release an MMO. They would lose money trying to put it over here. And I can understand that. I know very little people that play Monster Hunter right now. To release an MMO...
To release an MMO with that on it, they probably would.
Not only that, but if you notice, MMOs are on their way out, at least in this country.
Yeah, they are.
Old
They really
Republic is dying.
That's
WoW
so
is
sad.
dying.
WoW is dying very quickly, especially with that Pandaria shit.
Yeah, the Kung Fu Panda
Kung
expansion.
Fu
Yeah, that was
Panda.
ridiculous.
Yes.
I think that was just an error on their part.
I think at this point they
No,
just
they
don't
actually
care.
it actually was incorporated into the lore in older games. There were pandas there, but it was just horrible.
The theme of that expansion just proves to me it's like, Blizzard, you're not even trying to take this seriously.
You're not even trying
are you?
anymore, and you're right. MMOs probably are on their way out.
I mean,
in this
that's not to say
country,
Blizzard's a bad company. I love StarCraft too.
Yeah,
Oh,
and like
yeah.
it's unfortunate
StarCraft.
because I there are a couple MMOs that I really enjoy. There are some that I play a lot. Mm-hmm. But I mean, you're probably right. They are on their way out. They're decreasing. The demand isn't really there a lot anymore. And unless there's some kind of resurgence in the next couple years or the next year or two, they're probably on their way out and will be done with soon.
My thing with their new release with the pandas is I'm thinking way too soon. Kung Fu Panda.
Yeah,
Kung Fu
they
Panda 1.5.
timed that
Kung Fu
horribly.
Panda 2. You just timed this miserably, or it was a ploy to get all the young people playing that watched.
It's a
Kung
very
Fu
good
Panda.
point. And they're
But
like,
they were-
I can be Poe! And they played
I feel like they would
Mr.
lose their
Pandaria.
older bases.
Here's my advice to anybody who wants to get involved with Warcraft. Do not play World of Warcraft. Play Warcraft 3.
Frozen Throne. Warcraft 3,
Frozen Throne. I play that online. I love
Warcraft
It
3.
Great.
It's just that easy. You just play Warcraft 3.
Undead, man.
Exactly.
Way
Yeah,
to go.
absolutely.
Oh, and Blizzard, can you make a Diablo game that's actually good?
Ooh.
I just want to throw that out there.
Yeah, Diablo.
A Diablo game that's good, or another Diablo game that's good? Do you not like any of them?
No, another
No,
Diablo
just-
game that's
I
good.
mean,
It's
a
2 was
Diablo
alright.
game.
1 and 2 were good, but 3 kind of
A Diablo game this decade that's going to be
in
good.
this decade.
Yeah.
'Cause,
Diablo 3 kind of deflated on us. It was kind of
yeah,
it built up a whole lot of expectation, and they were like, "Oh, here you go, have finished." No,
I didn't even buy it. I waited. I've learned that online games, if they have hype, you wait, you let your friend buy it,
you let
and
somebody
then you
else
watch.
buy it, and you
And
find
then
out
you
what it
buy it.
is.
Either that, or you wait 2 weeks
Unless
for
they're
a
free.
patch before you buy.
That's true. Patches are
Unless they're
necessary.
Unless they're free.
That's true.
Because I'll play the shit out of some free games, regardless of how shitty they are. I'll play some free games.
Anyway, we're kind of getting away
We're
from
getting away from
the
topic.
real target
Oh,
here,
let's go
Capcom.
back.
Capcom.
I want to segue into Resident Evil.
Oh my god, are you sure?
Yes, Resident
Alright.
Evil is their biggest IP.
Absolutely.
It makes them the most money. Resident Evil 6 has made them a lot of money this year, at the cost of people's hopes and dreams being crushed. Resident Evil 6 fails on so many levels.
Oh my god.
It fails on basic game design, and it fails within its own universe.
It fails within the universe by the setting, in some cases.
Well, I wouldn't exactly argue that. It's not the setting that's the problem.
Well, no, but like some of the places they put you are kind of off.
Yeah, there was a part in Leon's campaign where I'm like, am I playing Tomb Raider?
Exactly. You're kind of. It's kind of like, okay, what kind of progression to the story does this particular area of the world give me? I.e., the catacombs in Leon's campaign.
One
But
second, I'm in a town
And
/
then
city in
you're
the Midwest, and the next thing I know,
Catacombs?
I'm Lara Croft, Tomb Raider.
Yeah, he's Leon
Got
Kennedy.
Two
Leon,
pistols strapped to your sides.
and they give Leon 2 pistols now.
Of
So
course.
Yeah, no.
but
Then again, I don't really care.
Leon grew boobs all of a sudden.
because
you know.
Leon grew
Oh,
boobs.
that's the big thing.
That's
I
what
can,
Helena's for.
That's the big thing I
She
can
splices
say about
tits.
this game.
What?
Is that I don't care.
You don't care? I've gotten to the point where I really don't care to play it.
Resident Evil 5 screwed up so much that they had a lot riding on RE6.
Oh.
And the hype train
Oh,
was
man.
a-going. We're going to
Hype
get
train was
zombies back.
Real.
We're going to get survival horror back.
And we were supposed to.
And we did.
And we did for a couple minutes.
About 5.
Right at the beginning.
About 5.
And that was it. That was all it was. I only played the beginning of each of the campaigns. I put down the controller. You could, you know. I put the controller. Leon is my favorite Resident Evil character. I've played 2 dozens of times. I've played 4 probably hundreds of times. I put down the controller and left the room 5 minutes into Leon's campaign. I said, this is not Resident Evil. This is not Leon. I don't want to touch this anymore. I'm disgusted. And then Chris is... I'm glad that they didn't... They kind of toned down Chris's muscles a little bit. They, kind of they made him look a little more like Chris Redfield instead of... I don't know...
Brick Redfield?
Brick Redfield. And he looks better. The character model's better. They improved that.
He goes from Chris Redfield, Boulder Puncher, to hey, I'm Chris
I'm
Redfield.
Chris Redfield again.
Nice to meet
Nice
you.
to meet you, yeah. And they kind of tone that down a little bit, and it looks okay. But, again... It's not the same. It's not Resident Evil.
The problem
in
is...
any sense of the
And
franchise at all.
I think... I hope most of us can agree here that the plot for Resident Evil has never really been anything that exceptional.
Oh, no, it hasn't.
And
It's
no,
always been...
it's-
it's so cheesy.
I mean, the way that 1, 2, and 3 were set up, and I'm just talking, not even throwing the remake in here, just Resident Evils 1,
the
2, and 3
original.
on
1,
the
2, and 3
PlayStation
for
1.
PS1, the original set.
I thought, the story, granted, it does have its kind of cheese points.
It has its cheese.
It's still okay.
yeah.
It's still enjoyable.
Truth.
Then I kind of noticed a bit of a draw, they're trying to draw back with Code Veronica X.
Yeah.
I did
Kind of-
not like Code Veronica at all.
No.
Oh man,
It
we've had this
wasn't.
conversation before. You do not like.
Yes, we
Not at
have.
all.
No.
I didn't particularly enjoy Code Veronica either, but again, it was a Resident Evil game. I had to play it.
I was even stupid enough to buy the HD version of it on the 360.
I'm sorry.
Once again, you gotta let it go out for a little bit.
Yeah, again.
But hey, they put Resident Evil 4 in HD, which I had no problem with playing that on the 360. I thought it was fine. Resident Evil 4 is a significant game in the franchise's history.
Yeah,
and I think
Resident Evil 4 was good.
Yes,
not necessarily just as a Resident Evil title, but as a game itself. Resident Evil 4 was good.
It Well, I shouldn't say that it flows good 100% of the time. There's
some really choppy points there.
Small point in the game where it starts to drag on a little bit in the castle. Yeah. But then it's like, okay.
But once you get out of the castle, it kind of picks it back up, and you start running again. And it gets back to what it was before.
And I think I know the reason why 5 and 6 and anything afterwards has really been subpar. Save for Revelations. You say Revelations.
Revelations is good. I enjoyed Revelations a lot.
I won't know until they release it on
put me,
the PS3
really,
and 360.
Revelations, I know you can relate to this comparison. Revelations put me back in RE1.
Wow.
Like jump scares and horror, being afraid to go around the corners and everything because you don't know what's there. Revelations took me back to the first time I played through the first one.
And that's what survival horror is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Revelations is survival horror. That they went back to it. And which is part of why I'm so about Resident Evil 6, because they've gone back to survival horror and it worked. Revelations was a successful game, it sold a lot of copies, and it was good. The plot was very well done. They had a connection to the characters, like in the old ones. You felt connected to the people you were going through this story with. Up to 4, that they did that really well, aside from like Code Veronica, because Claire was kind of shallow in that. There's very little development there, but still.
I had a feeling that they had conflicting ideas with Code Veronica of what they wanted to do. And probably, I think that ultimately kind of...
It kind of was the game's downfall.
Yeah, so
nobody could really decide what they
Never finished Code Veronica. That's how bad I think that game is.
Well, I think, usually what happens with games is they progress, and get better graphics. If they were solely based on, the storyline of a game, once it gets better graphics, for whatever reason...
The story always goes to shit.
The story always goes away.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand it takes a longer time and a longer process to create better graphic games, but it spends. You don't have to spend any less time on the script to do that. You can have one person actually writing a game and have it fully functional. With Resident Evil 5, I don't remember being scared ever.
No, there was no scares
the entire
there.
Game.
There were no scares at all.
But
there were points in 4 where I was scared. But it was jump scares.
There were actionized cutscenes. They weren't cutscenes. You got to play.
They were quick time events.
Right. And, that was something that's just like, hey,
quick
look
time.
At this.
Which, that's all Resident Evil 6 is. It's just a giant quick time event.
It's a fucking big
It's like,
time.
let me play the damn game.
Instead of giving me all these quick time events, let me shoot stuff. And I noticed something the other day. RE6 is the longest Resident Evil title in the franchise.
Oh my god, don't...
But hold on.
Oh my god.
Cumulatively, Resident Evil 6, or even with the individual campaigns being, 5 hours?
Somewhere around there,
yeah. That's the longest Resident Evil title so far. 5 was
around maybe 4 or 5 hours.
4 or 5 hours as well.
The length of one campaign in RE6.
Yeah. RE4, you could finish in,
2 hours. I've easily beat it in under 2 hours.
1 through 4, you could all finish in, at least a span of 2 to 2.5 hours, if you're good and you know what you're doing. They started drawing out the games. The longer they got, the worse they became.
Here's my thing. RE6, I wouldn't think it was so bad because I prefer to play a short, shitty game than a shitty game that takes forever. It becomes a chore.
Yeah.
And if you have to play a game and you feel like it's a chore playing it,
you don't want to
something's wrong.
Yeah, something is very wrong.
You just didn't do it right.
And Resident Evil 6, even the little bit that I did play of it, it felt like a chore. I wasn't enjoying myself.
The only thing that I could say that Resident Evil 6 is okay at is Mercenaries mode. Other than that, I can't see...
Which is a blast. It really is fun. But, again, honestly, I'd rather play the Mercenaries in RE4 or maybe even RE5. I didn't really like RE5 that much either.
I'm a complete purist when it comes to Mercenaries mode. I like RE3's Mercenaries mode the best. It's the best scenario.
I haven't played RE3's Mercenaries mode a lot.
I don't like the idea of, hey, let's just kill anything that moves. How about we have an objective?
I haven't played a whole lot of RE3's Mercenaries, so
RE3's
really
Mercenaries is
much,
basically, you start at one point in Raccoon City.
Yeah, and you get to another point, and there's a bomb.
Yeah, and along the way, you can either kind of veer off a little bit and rescue civilians, and they give you things. They give you extra ammo and all of that. And in order to keep the timer up, you kill some enemies along the way. Okay. But the whole point is, you need to stay moving and get to that objective.
Still. In 5 and 6, you stand still so you can kill enemies, and then kill enemies so you can stand still and get timers. And same thing with 4, but you kind of have to keep moving in 4. There's a bit more urgency in 4, strictly because they don't. It's not just regular enemies. They throw shit at you really early on.
The thing about Resident Evil 4 and why I think, because you said that, you had this feeling of genuine terror in RE4, and I don't think it's because of jump scares or anything like that. RE4, I can run out of ammo, and I'm screwed.
Yeah, you're screwed
RE5
completely.
and 6, there's always going to be an ammo generator
bullets
somewhere. RE6, I've never run out of ammo in that game. Ever.
Yeah, I know. There were a couple jump scares in 4, and most of it, you're exactly right, most of it was because I have no ammo. You were there for one of them, the El Gigante battle. I think the second time. I had no ammo, I had my knife, and that was it. And I had to protect Ashley and somehow escape the El Gigante.
Survival.
And exactly, it's survival. It takes you...
It's survival
horror! And, like, a lot of people say that when you run out of ammo and you're in a pinch, it kind of takes you out of the game. That did nothing more than draw me into it even more.
Yes, it gave you...
immersed me even further.
Difficulty.
Exactly.
I mean, 5 and 6 are not difficult.
No.
Resident Evil 5 on professional mode is easy.
5 is a cakewalk, and 6 holds your hand.
By the time that you are done with Resident Evil 6, like beat all of the campaigns, then you can go on to professional.
Yeah.
You have all the good stuff unlocked. You've got infinite ammo unlocked.
Nice.
There's no difficulty
What
here.
happened to earning all the perks?
Exactly. Resident Evil 5...
I had to work my ass off to get unlimited ammo.
Resident Evil 5, at least you had a currency system where you had to buy upgrades and buy infinite ammo, and it cost you an arm and a leg in several playthroughs.
Same in 4. You bought the... Was it the...
You can buy
the Chicago typewriter. Was the Thompson. And it took me 2 whole playthroughs not buying anything.
That's...
Except like secondary weapons, because I did most of it with the pistol, but I bought sniper rifle and the shotgun. I didn't buy anything else. I sold all of my other ammo, and it still took me, I think, maybe an entire playthrough, and then a good ways into the next one. I think I actually realized the other day I'm on like round 8 on GameCube Resident Evil 4.
I don't even know how many times I've beaten.
I've beaten that like, and I beat it. I think I beat it like 5 times on PS2. I love that game. And then here's
it's
my favorite game. I love it.
Here's something interesting. Since we're still talking about Resident Evil, there is a Capcom has come out and said that they said that if there's enough support for it, they will highly consider making a remake of Resident Evil 2 in the style of Resident Evil Remake. I am all for this.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think that if Capcom wants to kind of redeem themselves after RE6, this is probably in your best interest to pursue this.
Absolutely.
Well, looking at Capcom's
looking at their track record recently,
it's probably not going to happen.
There needs to be, looking at their track record recently, it needs to happen.
Yes,
it needs to be honest.
Because
I would go out and I would start, if they announced it, say tomorrow, I'd start hoarding money to get one of the current consoles to play it.
Here's the way I see it. Capcom is trying to appeal to casuals. Casuals only.
Which is not...
People, the Call of Duty crowd.
That's not what Resident Evil's supposed to be, though.
We are the foundation of where they are now. Resident Evil would not be where it's at right now if it weren't for people like us
who spent money
bought
on the games.
Every game and played it.
Exactly.
Including
Resident Evil Survivor, because I played that shit.
And
That's horrible.
That's
horrible.
And now, instead of
I played this.
giving something that hardcore fans will enjoy, They only want to cater to casuals. They want to cater to everybody. And that's what's wrong with Resident Evil 6. They want to try to please everyone. The people who like survival horror, the people who like third-person cover shooters, and the people who like the Call of Duty crowd. That's all they want.
Third-person cover shooters.
Gross.
Yeah, the only thing they see is, hey, look, money.
But
Call of Duty makes money. We can get in on that, too.
No, you can't. You're a survival horror. It doesn't work that way.
We already discussed that Capcom doesn't like money, so that doesn't make sense with the way they've acted with the rest of their IPs.
If Capcom needs a refresher course on how to do a survival horror game, look at the first 2 Dead Space games. Study those.
Man, that was wonderful.
Those were great.
I know some of the fans of this franchise may kind of harping on me a little bit, but it's not as bad. It hasn't taken that much of a turn. But Silent Hill's franchise, it's still somewhat there. It's a lot more there than it is compared to Resident Evil.
I don't know about the old. I stopped it too.
Well,
so I don't know.
It's still there.
Silent Hill, as far as I know, Silent Hill's always been there.
Downpour, I mean,
Downpour. I did play Downpour.
Some fans have kind of gone like, okay, Silent Hill's kind of taken that. Not as much of a radical difference
which
as
one was
Resident
the one that
Evil
they released
did.
for Wii? Was that Downpour? Because that was the kid on the swing on the cover, right?
I think there was some kind of reimagining of the first one, I think.
Okay.
So...
Wait, what was... No, because Downpour was the one that
Downpour's on PS3 and 360.
I think it might have been released for Wii, too. I thought I had played that one.
No, you're thinking it's like... It may be Shattered Memories or something.
Yeah, that's the one with the girl on the swing.
Yeah,
and that one was alright.
I don't know.
And
I haven't played that one.
I think was the one with the remake of the first one.
I don't think I ever played any of the Silent Hill titles.
They're really good games.
They really are.
They were. I've seen the first one be played.
Oh my god, the Pyramid Head.
I have to admit, at the time when I saw it, I was like, wow, that's really...
still a Pyramid Head.
That's really creepy. I was impressed by its creepiness, but I didn't play it.
Yeah, well, that's because Silent Hill's not really a survival horror game. It's a psychological
It's a horror game. It's supposed to scare you.
Yeah, which, playing through Silent Hill 2 in the HD collection, it's really good. I mean, there were some moments in there where I'm just like, oh shit.
That was, in my opinion, was the best one, was the second one.
Yeah, I like the second one a lot. 3's pretty good too. I
stopped at 2.
It's been forever since I played the original.
No, I lied again. I'm sorry. I played The Room, and that was pretty crappy.
Yeah, The Room.
The Room was pretty bad.
Okay, we all have our ups and downs, our good days and bad days.
Yeah. No, and it was a Silent Hill game in spirit and gameplay and everything. It was a Silent Hill game. It was scary, but it was. It just wasn't there. It wasn't quite there. It just kind of fell short a little, I thought.
So, and I mean, this same argument can be made for Square Enix.
This same argument can definitely be made for Square Enix.
Except there's one big difference between Capcom and Square Enix. And we're just going to leave it at this.
Okay.
The big difference between Capcom and Square Enix is Capcom isn't losing money.
Square Enix is losing a lot
Square
of money.
Enix is losing money, and they know how to fix it. And
they
refuse
to do it.
So,
give me my
remake. We will probably cover that one in a later episode.
There'll probably be a Square Enix.
And if it's Square Enix, I'll probably be around again.
Square Enix.
Alright, so Pat, where can we find you?
You can find me on Code Zombie TV for MMO commentaries and coverage, and then you can find me on VGN, which is the Vintage Gaming Network, where it's pretty much old school games, everything N64 and PS1 and older. And these two have made regular appearances there, so that's where you can find me.
Alright, Matt, you don't really do anything on the internet, do you?
You don't do anything on the internet.
You know what? I jump in on some of my friends' stuff, so you can catch me every once in a while on one of these twos. Or,
yep.
Yeah.
And then you can find me at youtube.com/phantasmmask, where, this podcast is posted.
This is posted.
Yeah.
If you're watching
unless you're listening to this on
gaming.
iTunes, if we magically found out how to put it on there. So, yeah. I do Let's Plays and game reviews and everything else, and unboxings, which have been fairly popular lately.
The unboxing have been really popular.
Zone of the Enders, everybody loves that.
Absolutely. So why not? Zone of the Enders is amazing.
Yes, but that's a topic for another day.
It is a topic for another day.
So, thank you guys for listening, and on behalf of everyone here, we wish you a very, very pleasant week.
PWNcast.